Guardians. Relentless killing machines with an inescapable gaze, originally designed to be Hyrule's ultimate protection, but instead became the keys to Hyrule's ultimate destruction. And the Gloom Hands, nightmarish abominations created from Ganon's gloom, with the power to dye the skies red and whose grasp knows no escape. Happy Halloween everyone, and today we're going to be discussing the Gloom Hands versus the Guardians. Which one was scarier, which one was more memorable, and most importantly, which one would you rather fight? Now picture this, you're walking through the fields of Hyrule, the sun is shining and a cool breeze is flowing. Sure, you encounter the occasional bokoblin, but it's nothing you can't handle. But then you hear it. You turn around to see a guardian towering over you, its laser already pointed at your chest, almost ready to fire. You don't even try to run, you know that it's too late. Any opportunity you had to escape has long since passed. You brace yourself for the inevitable before being gunned down by its laser. Everything fades to black. And that, my friends, was a guardian. I bet I gave some of you PTSD, because back in the days of Breath of the Wild, these machines of mass destructions were the bane of every player's existence. You knew it was up to you the moment you saw that laser pointing at your chest. And don't even get me started on the theme, especially the first few seconds of it. To this day, that tune will send shivers down the spines of millions, because once you heard it, you knew it was action time. It didn't matter what you were doing, swimming, climbing, cooking, it didn't matter. You needed to move and locate the Guardian immediately, because hearing that tune means that the Guardian can see you, but that doesn't necessarily you can see it. And unless you wanted the laser through the chest, you needed to find out where it was immediately or run away. Heck, it got so bad that the theme became a meme. And the scariest time to fight a Guardian is when you're brand new to the game, because you have no idea what to do. You just see a laser pointing at you randomly, you hear the theme music playing, and no matter how fast you seem to run, you can't escape the laser pointing at you. You know you got a limited time to escape it, but no matter how fast you run, you can't seem to dodge the laser or escape its gaze. In fact, most people, myself included, will testify that their first death was to one of these things in Breath of the Wild. The fact that they were all over the map and seemingly appeared out of thin air meant that you could never relax while exploring Hyrule, because you didn't know when one would just appear out of nowhere and ruin your day. In fact, when I found out that the Guardians were 9 Tears of the Kingdom, I was overjoyed, I was happy, because now it meant that I could explore Hyrule without having to worry about these things ambushing me out of nowhere. But oh, how wrong I was. Hey there, if you made it to this part of the video, thank you, and I would really appreciate it if you liked and subscribed. But anyway, back to the video. Now imagine this, you're exploring some ruins, and all of a sudden the sky starts turning red, but then you see the puddles start getting larger and larger, and nightmarish arms start appearing one by one. They let out a horrific scream before beginning their chase after you. You try your best to escape, but one of them manages to grab you. The hand proceeds to squeeze the life out of you, one heart at a time. Your vision starts to fade to black, and you are no more. And that, my friends, is the Gloom Hands, the signature enemy of Tears of the Kingdom and the Guardian's spiritual successor. But did it live up to its predecessor's legacy? Well, let's talk about it. Well, immediately, this thing is terrifying. I mean, look at it. It looks like Shigeru Miyamoto tried to draw the devil's hands from memory. The first time I encountered this thing, I almost jumped out of my skin. I was not expecting that at all. This thing is an absolute nightmare to fight. In fact, you have no choice but to fight it from a height advantage, because if you stay on the ground, you are dead. There's no way around it. The gloom that surrounds it will kill you off, and if it doesn't, then the hands will grab you and they will keep draining the life out of you until your hearts run out. And when they touch you, the hearts, they don't regenerate until either you escape the Gloom Hands or they dissipate on their own. And the fact that you have to take out all of the heads at once in order to kill it, or else more will pop up, means that just one mistake, one misfire, one wrong attack could mean setting all the work you've done to zero, making fighting this thing extremely stressful and terrifying. Now that we've had a look at both of these monsters, let's see how they compare to one another. Scariness. In terms of scariness, I'll have to give the edge to the Gloom Hands. It's just scarier in design and in atmosphere, the way it just builds up, like first the sky turning red, and then you hearing that horrific scream that it makes, and then all of a sudden these hands popping out of nowhere and grabbing you. It just gives more fear to me than the Guardian did. I mean, the Guardian, the first time I met it, it was shocking, don't get me wrong, but due to the fact that the Guardian can be found all over the map and you encounter it so frequently, eventually it becomes more of a nuisance than something that you fear, especially considering the fact that you have to farm for materials from it to acquire good armor, so you kind of have to learn how to fight it eventually, and when you do, it pretty much trivializes it. But the Gloom Hands doesn't share that issue because it can only be found in a few specific locations. So you can encounter it and you can go a really long time without seeing it again. And when you do, it's more impactful. So the Gloom Hand takes this one. Memorable. Now in terms of which one was more memorable, unlike the previous contest, this one isn't even close. The Guardian takes this easily. When most people talk about Breath of the Wild and the mobs inside of it, you will always hear them talking about Guardians. And just the impact that it had on Zelda and the lore, and just the way you had to play the game knowing that these things could appear out of nowhere, just made it more memorable and more impactful than the Gloom Hands. Because if you really think about it, when was the last time you had a conversation with someone in talking about Tears of the Kingdom and you started talking about the Gloom Hands? I'll tell you, rarely. I rarely hear anyone talking about the Gloom Hands. Maybe, like I mentioned before, it's because they're so scarce and you rarely ever encounter it. It's almost like they've been forgotten. But anyway, I digress. The Guardian takes this one. Now comes the last and most important question. Which one would you rather fight? And my answer to this question is neither of them. Like, are you crazy? Both of them are terrible options. First of all, you're not winning against either of them. And I know some of you are going to be in the comments like you would rather pick a Guardian because all you have to do is deflect the laser back at them to kill them. And to that I say, are you silly? Do you know how fast a laser beam is? Lasers travel at 670 million miles per hour, which is the speed of light. I know it looks slow in the game, but that's only because we needed to respond to it. The game developers needed us to be able to respond to it. Otherwise, we'd just be getting blitzed by these things. And the Gloom Hands, they're not any better. Look at them. You wouldn't even be able to get close. And I doubt any of you know how to shoot a bow and arrow or have any bombs on you. Like, you are not escaping their hands if they get their hands on you. Like, you are not getting out of that. I'm sorry. Like, you could be built literally different, but if that thing grabs you, you're not escaping. You're not struggling your way out of that. But if I absolutely had to pick one, I would choose the Guardian. Not because I think I could take one in a fight, but because out of the two options, it would be the quickest death. One laser beam would be enough to take me out. It would be very quick. Because this looks painful, man. Like, what a rough way to go. So in conclusion, Guardians are more memorable, Gloom Hands are scarier. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to see more, and I'll see you all next time.